Hello everybody. Welcome to the first Good Vibe People Couch Sessions. I am with Aquarius Dreams today. They were nice enough to come pass through, and we're making this a tradition on every single episode to actually choose what these guys are gonna drink. So what kind of people are you? Because that's what everybody wants to know before every single show. Are you guys beer drinkers? What are we having today at this interview? We got some Farnham, we got some wine, we got a bit of gin, and all the good stuff. So guys, the floor is yours. What can we have for you today?
You know, I don't want to be the guy to just take a beer, but I think that's what
the guy who should just take a beer. That's what's up. Farnham has been very good to us, so we will all take a beer. Are we all taking a beer, or are you taking something else, Henry?
I would, if it were later at night, I'd grab some gin.
Okay.
But you know, right now I think I'm gonna have myself. That's white wine, right?
That is white wine.
I'll have
yes.
a glass of white wine.
White wine for Mr. Henry. I like it. A very diverse crowd, not all going in the same direction. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And finally, what can we have for you, sir?
I'm gonna take an IPA.
You're gonna have an IPA. Great. So we have a full house.
Yeah.
Full house of different combinations. I will take myself an IPA as well, actually.
Alrighty.
So everybody, cheers and welcome to the first
Right on.
Good Vibe People Couch Sessions.
Thanks for having us, Sebastian.
Yeah, man.
Excellent. So, guys, for those of you that don't know, Aquarius Dreams are a dream folk band. And the number one question that I was going to say, because these guys are 7 in their band. 7. That's like basically a whole cruise ship of people. So we want to know, how is it in this day and age where it's getting more and more DJs all just like miniaturizing everything? How is it just to deal with 6 other people in a 7-piece band in this day and age? How can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it's complicated, and it's a short answer.
I imagine.
To that. But the way we kind of formed the group to have 7 members is that we had actually recorded our EP prior. And we had, string quartet on it. We had a quartet of horns as well. We had so much instrumentation that we wanted to recreate that in live. Obviously, we weren't going to have the same amount of people, but the way we figured it would work out is to have 7 members. And that's the way we rolled with it, and that's the way we're going to keep going. And in reference to, the whole DJing reduction of the amount of people on stage, I think we're going to see the reverse of that, to be honest, in the coming years. Take, for example, Bonobo, who is a DJ in essence, but he's coming to stage with a whole group of musicians.
That's a good point. It is true. Yeah, same thing for a lot of DJs.
And you can see other groups like, say, Snarky Puppy, who has a huge amount of musicians on stage, and let's see who else. Even someone local like Busty and the Bass.
True.
So I think we're going to see this sort of a revival. Maybe it's along the same lines as wanting, after you have something become so digital, there's sort of a pushback to wanting to see all the musicians on stage performing that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And how is it to deal with 6 other band members in the creative process? I mean, I think it's hard to be 7 people that are completely pushing their ideas. So is it better to have a couple of people that are more laid back, kind of like go with the flow? Or are you guys just so happens that you guys really get along with each other and the creative process just really meshes? How is it dealing with so many people on one single project?
Well, at first it was really simple because basically, like I'd mentioned, we had recorded the album and we kind of learned the parts as they were recorded, right? And there wasn't much leniency because the goal was, let's basically recreate this album as best we can. Now that we're moving towards new songs, basically what I've been doing so far is coming with an idea and then we work on it together. But yeah, let Chris or Ellie talk about like how much leniency or how much creative process they have.
Exactly. How is it for you guys maybe to get along? Can you say a bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, like coming into it, it's like obviously Henry had it was his brainchild, it was his creation that he had, and he just wanted it to come to fruition in obviously his own way, but inviting all these musicians, of course, we're going to have all these different takes to it, and it's going to have different perspectives on it. And I think he was he's so I feel like weird like talking about he's so like inviting and like interested to see what you have to say and what you have to add to it. And, like, well, I'll have an idea here. I'll play a line on the trumpet. And he'll say, yeah, I really like that. And I'll be like, cool. Do you want to throw that in? Absolutely. Or, maybe it's like, maybe it doesn't fit so well. So then like get back to the idea and see like where it comes from, like what the impetus of it was. Like, for example, like every line really has a story. It has a story. Yeah, it has a background. And just to be able to really
mesh together.
Like, and like recreate it the way that Henry wants to, while at the same time giving us all this free room to really experiment. And I think it's really
great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Great. So how did you guys meet? Are you guys all friends? Did you guys kind of meet through music? How did all that kind of come together?
Yeah, it kind of worked out really well. Ellie is a good friend of our keyboard player who isn't here today, Saul. And when I was forming the group, it was really me, the percussionist Will, who created the bass of it, because we were the ones who arranged and recorded the album. And Saul was the first one to hop on board and say, yes, I'm going to play keys. And he's like, I know a really cool bassist who can join us. And I met Ellie, we had a practice, and he showed that he was committed and willing to learn the songs. And that's like, that was the quality.
He's ready to take on the job.
You're qualified, especially when you're looking to get 7 musicians. It's like, if you are dedicated, willing to learn, and can play the songs, let's do it. You know what I mean? Because, for example, with the violinist, at first we were planning on having someone else, and just the commitment was there. Great player. But Ed, who's the violinist, one of Chris's friends, the day we asked if he could play, he showed up to practice that night.
Yeah, literally gave him a call.
Fantastic.
He showed up to practice that night. Yeah. He bought an electric violin. He bought a pedal to have effects for his violin within a week.
He was the man for the job.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and that's sort of how it came together. Just a little reaching out here and there. Chris recorded on the album itself. I asked him afterwards if he wanted to join in live performances. He said yes. So it was a combination of luck and connections, and mostly just desire and dedication.
That's fantastic to hear. With all these bands that are constantly kind of trios breaking up, and being 7 people and willing to do a creative process that works for everybody is really great. So tell us a little bit. The album just came out not too long ago, Soulless. So how has it been for you guys? I know you're kind of new to the Montreal scene as a group together. What has been the feedback? What's next? Can you tell us a bit what is happening right now with the release of Soulless, basically?
Yeah, so we released back in October 13th at La Vitrola. It went really well. It was the first time we ever performed on stage together was at our album launch. I felt ecstatic about the night. I've been playing with another group for 2 years, and that was, for me, one of the most passionate performances on stage I gave, and one of the most rewarding. In terms of our push since then, it's kind of been playing shows here and there. We're about to play one at Casa on February 2nd, and we just recorded a live session recording at McGill that will hopefully be released in the next month. So quickly already we're moving sort of past Solace, That was a nice thing that honestly, for me as a musician, was documenting 5 years of my life sort of thing. And we did that and we presented it. And now that we have so many talented musicians, we're just going to move forward and keep writing new tunes and sort of draw inspiration from all the musicians to create these new things that is no longer about my writing process, it's about ours.
Great. And keeping on that note, Soulless seems like, the name of the album is Soulless. So what's the concept behind this? Is there what is the soul of Soulless basically? How do you want people to feel while they're listening to the record? Obviously it's a very dreamy, putting you in a certain state type of album. So what did you want to create when you were actually working on Soulless? It's
sort of a compilation of a bunch of moments in my life. like a moment of, and solace is kind of drawn by like a moment of reflection and a moment of meditation and peace on things that have occurred. So in short, sort of solace as an album documents particular moments in my life, as I'm, a lot of people go through the period of time through adolescence to adulthood where you feel like you grow and you become a person, have a sense of self, and are no longer lost. And the whole album is exactly that, a documentation of my experiences, my travels, and then finally a reflection and a piece on the whole adventure.
Interesting. And I feel like a lot of musicians kind of try to capture that, just a certain moment in time of just trying to consolidate so much that you've lived across 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and kind of put it in a musical form. So I find it always does very good result. So you guys are playing at Casa soon, right? With can you tell us a bit about that? I know you guys are with your buddies Ravine, Common Holly, a bunch of other Year of Glad.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 bands. Year of Glad is a really cool group. They just released an awesome album that I really fell in love with immediately when I heard it, so I contacted them saying we should play together. Before you knew it, all other bands are on board, and the attendance on Facebook is already about 100 people, so I think it's going to be a really rad night. And yeah, I'm honestly just excited to play it.
Incredible. So you guys are trying to pack that Casa up real well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's gonna do something well. I see you guys well at Casa actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you guys have anything to say? What's coming up? What's next for you guys? Do you have any shout outs to do? Basically, the floor is yours if you guys want to have it.
I'd say I'm really excited for what's to come with the band in terms of the music we're writing. Coming from, I wasn't on the original record, and hearing the songs and hearing the story behind each song was a really cool experience to try to respect what the original song was saying, but also put a personal twist into it and try to make it something that I feel like I can really play and express myself through. And it's really exciting to see these 7 musicians really come together and write new songs that are a bit of all of us, both in the writing, musically and lyrically, and just trying to get a bit of our, like, all 7 of us in the new songs. So that to me is really exciting in the future of what the new songs we're working on.
And keeping on that point, what happens first? Is it kind of like learning about the song and what it means, or is it kind of learning about the notes and everything, and then you kind of find out eventually after having practiced it enough times that you actually understand the song after a while? Which one kind of comes first?
It really depends. I feel like it can be both ways. Like, especially considering like the previous album, it already like had been a thing, and so we were more learning how to get into his experiences. Whereas with this new one, it's like with this new track where we've just been working on Riverbend. It's one that we're all kind of experiencing together, coming into existence. So like, I think it's kind of cool to be able to be on the other side of that, like working through the music and finding the purpose through the music as opposed to necessarily the other way around.
And are you trying to recreate some, like, what you think the intent of the song is, or are you trying to make it your own and then kind of like add your touch to it, basically?
I think a bit of it is each song is kind of its own story, and really we're trying to add our bit to the story in a sense. So when approaching someone's part, trying to address how they would see the song and integrate that into how they write their part.
Yeah, for a bit of clarity, I have a tendency when I write songs to write narratives, to write a story. Each song's a story, especially on the first album we did. Each song has very little repetition. It doesn't circle back; it continues to flow, and I really like that sort of description where every instrument is a different voice telling part of the story.
Totally.
Definitely. Great guys. Well, that was it. Aquarius Dreams at the Couch Sessions. Get their show on Casa on the 2nd of February with a bunch of cool bands. Get Solace EP out on Bandcamp and a couple of other other platforms.
Spotify.
So
Yeah, we're on Spotify, iTunes. You can listen to us for free on SoundCloud or YouTube. So anywhere on the
Take your
internet.
pick.
everywhere that you can find good music. So guys, thanks a lot for being here. We will cheers. And we'll wish lots of success
Yeah.
for the next show at
Right on.
Aquarius Dreams. Cheers, guys, and
Cheers.
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Cheers, thank you.
'Cause it hurts so bad. I don't